What's up guys, Belamy here, and in today's video we're going to be doing the first of what I am going to be dubbing the Archeage Survival Guide here on YouTube. It's a new series that I'm hopefully going to be able to get into, which is going to be basically every couple of days when I get time to make a video, I'm going to go ahead and take a small thing in Archeage, whether that's an easy thing or simple, complex, little thing that I can show you guys how to do essentially. And we're going to take that thing, go over it slightly in a hopefully short video, and yeah, that's just going to be episode by episode. I'm going to do something small, whether it's this thing or that thing, and we're just going to explain it very basically in a kind of casual format like this, and hopefully people can learn a little thing from each of those videos just to kind of enhance their Archeage experience in one way, shape, or form. So today we're going to be talking about the Archepass, and specifically not just the Archepass in relation to your main character, but doing the Archepass on a second character on your main account. So we can see here we got my main here, my Spellsinger, the one that I play on, and I have a level 35 Evensong. Doesn't matter what class you pick, I just picked an archer for whatever reason, and it's level 35. It only has to be level 30 for you to be able to do this, but we're going to go ahead and log on to that one, and you'll see that if you make a character on the same account and get it to level 30, you'll have access to the Archepass. And completing the Archepass at level 30 or early levels is actually very, very easy. You don't even have to do any kind of kill quests or anything like that. But I'm going to go ahead and show you guys just how easy it is to do and why there's so much value in doing it on a character that's on the same account as your main, and why we do that. So I'm going to go ahead and open the Archepass here. I've already selected all my missions, so I have 0 out of 12 attempts. I haven't done any missions yet. I haven't rerolled anything yet. I've just opened them, and we see we have killed 10 hostile players. Now, that's obviously not something that we're going to do on our level 35 character, unless you want to cheese that in some way. Blue Salt Bond, we can do that. Not the most ideal quest, but we can do that. And synthesize equipment times 20. Now, that could cost a little bit of labor, but it will most likely be worth it, and I'll show you guys why. So first, before we get into doing some of the missions and just showing you guys how easy it is to actually do these quests on your second character and knock it out in like 20 minutes or so, we're going to talk about why there's so much value in actually doing the Archepass on a second character. So the things that we're going to be getting from the Archepass that are mostly valuable in this period are just the bound labor recharges, which are basically going to translate into labor for your main character, and the Diligence Coins. The two basic things that are most likely going to be in every Archepass from now until the future. They seem to be a staple. They have been since the start, so these are the two main things that we're chasing. Now, the bound labor recharges are pretty self-explanatory. You can pop them on this character, and they translate into labor onto your main character. So you can just character select anytime you need a bit of extra labor, pop some labor recharges, and log back onto your main, and voila, you have some more labor, right? Very simple. Now, the Diligence Coins can be translated very similarly. You can go ahead and you can go into Growth tab here, and you can just buy more labor recharges if more labor is what you want. Or you can purchase a lot of different things like bound Serendipity Stone shards. 100 Diligence will basically equal a Serendipity Stone. I'll explain shortly why that's valuable and how that can be used. But there are other small things that are obviously tradable, which can be used for your main as well. So things like specialization snowflakes, different wrapped certificates of different kinds, expansion scrolls, multi-wagon tickets, the proficiency book. There's a lot of things you can just look through here that are tradable, that if you want to save up the diligence on this character, you can go ahead and trade. You can even get mounts in the form of the wrapped Lady Fluffysworth, Cottontail, and Sir Hoppington. If it says wrapped, that basically means it's tradable, so you can go ahead and buy it. It will not bind to your character. You can trade it over to your main, and you can use it over there. So I very easily got myself one of each of these 3 mounts, just because they're useful in the Hereafter Rebellion dungeon for the teleport. I'm not going to talk about that now, but there are a lot of things in Diligence that can be used between your two characters that are very, very useful. So on top of the straight up Diligence and labor recharges, each Archepass is going to have some unique things that, if used correctly, can be very valuable for your main. So we have fortune boxes in this current Archepass, which is just spend 200 labor and you get 200 to 1,000 gold. If you get lucky, that equals a bit of gold. You can see that this character has 209 gold, so I haven't even had to send gold to this character for doing anything, like buying mats for Blue Salt Bonds. It's just kind of funding itself via the fortune boxes, which is nice. And then we have the Cynthium Shard tickets. So currently in this Archepass, we have a ticket that's going to give a Synthium that can be used to feed your undergarments or your costume. However, most people are most likely going to be using either the bound undergarments or they have to use a costume, which is always bound. There's no way to make an unbound version of that. So usually this is pretty useless because you cannot translate it under regular circumstances to your main character. However, because this character is on the same account as our main, we can go ahead and craft a splendid costume chest, which is a special chest that you can craft. It's slightly expensive to make because you have to make a bunch of different storage chests that then craft into this version. I'm unsure of exactly how much it will cost, but you can go ahead and look into it yourself based on your server and the prices over there. But essentially what this chest allows us to do is, if you craft this on your main character and place it within a house, it gives you 100 slots to store costumes. So it's basically just a special storage for you to put costumes in so that, you know, if you run out of bank space or inventory space because you like to collect costumes, that being the ones that, you know, just have different looks in the store, you can have somewhere to store these without it taking up too much other, you know, space. But nevertheless, this splendid costume chest can be used for one other function, and that is to put your basic costume in it. So if you have a magic or a melee, a healer, basic costume, whatever it might be, you can actually place it in this chest. And there is a weird functionality with this chest where it doesn't let other characters access the chest. It is an account-bound chest, more or less the same as an Otherworld storage chest, that can in fact be accessed by characters on the same account. So if I made this chest on my main, Bella Prime, and came to the chest on grind, I would be able to access the chest and store and remove things from it. That means that if I was to put a basic costume, a magic basic costume in my case, in this chest on my main, and then access the chest on this character, I would be able to take out that basic costume and then use all of the Synthium that I'm getting from this current Archepass on that costume. And not only that, but a lot of other things too. So the Serendipity Stones that we're currently getting from the Archepass, as well as, you know, the Serendipity Stones that we can buy for Diligence and Serendipity Stones that we can buy for Honor, can all be used on that basic costume as well. So you can get a lot of value just by having a simple chest with this second character. It's basically a source of Serendipity Stones and Synthium currently, but it will always be a source for Serendipity Stones into the future. It's just extra good right now because of the Synthium shard tickets that you're getting from the current equipment Archepass as of the making of this video. So you can get a lot of value out of doing something like that. You can see that I've already used a bunch of Synthium shard tickets. I forgot that you could actually do this until I got to this point. So I have 2 more tickets here that I could make use of if I wanted to do this. I was planning on actually making this chest basically just for the Serendipity Stones, so that I could have access to Serendipity Stones for my costume on my main without using my main Serendipity Stones or Honor for Serendipity Stones, etc, etc. But I actually got pretty lucky with making my costume, and I didn't actually need that many stones to get the right stats on it. So I'm probably not going to go ahead myself and make this chest because it's just a cost for not much value in my term right now. So that's whatever. But if you are having some troubles making your costume or feeding it or re-rolling it, whatever the situation might be, crafting one of these splendid costume chests and trading them between these 2 characters and getting the value out of this Archepass would be very, very good for someone like you. So we can get a lot of value in terms of just costumes between our characters with this method. So you get the Synthium currently, and you'll always get Serendipity Stones. So currently the Archepass is giving us straight up Serendipity Stones in the form of, you know, a flat Serendipity Stone, or they're giving us this box, which gives us basically half a Serendipity Stone each box we get, and there was like 3 of them, I think, in the whole Archepass, so you get, you know, some shards and some Serendipity Stones, which is quite nice. And they can be translated over to your main quite easily, and there are a lot of other things that can be sent over to your main as well. Obviously, Honor can be turned into things like Lunar Gems, like you can mail to your main. It can be turned into Lunar Stones, which can be put on that said basic costume that you're transferring between your 2 characters using the chest to save Honor on your main. And you can buy things like Mournstones, Draughts of Forgiveness, your Lunar Stones, Goblets of Honor, whatever it is you want to get. So you can basically look at any Archepass and just say, okay, this is going to be of value to me, I can use this. And pretty much every Archepass till this date has had some kind of Honor diligence, or labor recharges in it, and those are the 3 things, or vocation. All 4 of those things are very useful and very easily translatable through this character to your main. Diligence and labor recharges we already talked about, and the crates that are going to give us vocation and honor up until now are very useful as well. So we can see in the previous Archepasses in Season 2, we had the same thing: diligence, labor recharges, and honor pots, all very useful and very easily translatable to your second character, or your main character, I should say. So there's a lot of value in this. You can pretty much look at any Archepass and just say, okay, knowing this information, I can translate all of this over to my main character. The honor and vocation is pretty straightforward. Fortune crates is just gold, that's straightforward. But I'm just explaining to you guys that you can get the extra value in the form of the Serendipity Stones and different costume related things by using this chest. So again, that is the Splendid costume chest. It can be crafted using a bunch of other chests, some mats at a handicraft kiln. It's not too crazy. It can get a little bit expensive because the chests required, take some expensive pigments, a little bit of fine lumber, and some thunderstruck logs. So it can get some, costly, but more often than not, especially in the current prices with Synthium and things like that, it's going to save you thousands and thousands of gold, or if you want to sell the Synthium or whatever, it can earn you tens of thousands of gold as well. So very, very good, and a lot of value in just making this chest and being able to trade between your 2 accounts. Now, you get the idea, right? Archepass is going to give you a lot of value. Each season, with each Archepass used correctly, you can get a lot out of it. So let's show you guys exactly how easy it is to actually complete each Archepass each week. So I'm going to go ahead and recall here because we just want to get somewhere where there's a lot of vendors. And we're going to show you guys, we have 12 missions to complete with 6 mission rerolls. Now, ideally, we don't want to be doing kill quests and things like that because they're going to take too much time. We want to do easy, simple quests that aren't going to take up much effort. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to run over to the vendors over here in Ostera. And we're going to do some of these missions quite easily. Now, you can do this in one day, with 1 set of rerolls, the 6 rerolls, if you're lucky. Sometimes it might take you a second day and just wait for a couple extra rerolls if you want to be extra lazy. But the simplest thing to do is to hope for these synthesis quests. So we have synthesized 20 pieces of equipment. So what we're going to do is we already have a set here, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to buy just a set of leather armor. Doesn't matter what kind of armor you get. So we can buy that and we'll unseal it. And you'll see that we'll get, all this leather. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these. That's just showing you guys how to get them. I already have a set just above, as you can see. Now, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and talk to the general merchant here. And you're going to want to buy a bunch of the basic low-level Sori quest infusions. So I got 10 here. That'll get me halfway through my quest. And I'm going to go ahead and feed these. So I've already fed one of each infusions into each of these pieces. The only one I haven't done is the tacits here. So I'm going to go ahead and feed one infusion. It's going to take it to Arcane, and that's going to give me 1 out of 20 completion for this quest. So now what I'm going to have to do is, because I can no longer feed these, I'm going to buy, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of armor here. I'm going to go ahead and buy 6 scrolls, and I'm going to awaken each of these into the next tier of quest gear, therefore allowing me to feed them more. And some people may think, oh, wouldn't you want to feed them with like higher infusions or whatever? No, you want to feed them with the lowest possible infusion, even when they're at the higher tiers, because, you want it to cost the least amount of gold possible for each feed, which the lowest tier of infusion is going to do, and get you the most amount of completion possible. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep buying these rank 1 infusions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go gear upgrade. I'm going to take the boots, doesn't matter which one. It's going to cost me 17 silver, essentially, and 20 labor to feed. That's going to give me 2 out of 20. And I can just keep doing this one at a time until I get to the next piece. So once I get this full, essentially, is what we'll call it. So once I get this all the way up to heroic, it's going to go ahead and not let me feed any more into it. But I can go ahead and awaken this one more time with the blue scroll when we get to that. So I'm going to go ahead and feed these one by one. You can see I'm already at 6 out of 20. Almost there. This is going to take me to 8 out of 20. And then it'll fill up here at heroic. So this is the max it'll let me feed at this tier 2 quest level. So, yep, we're at Heroic, and then I can go ahead and buy some of these blue scrolls. I already have some here in my bag, and I can awaken this piece. It's going to take it to a higher level than what I can equip, but that's okay. We're not trying to equip them anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to continue feeding these into here. So I'm just going to get the tier 1 infusions only, because they give the least XP possible. And I'm going to go ahead and buy 10 more of these, and I'm going to feed these into them, and I'll skip ahead for you guys. Alright, so we're almost at 20 out of 20 here. We're at 18 there. And hopefully, when we hit 20 out of 20 here, it's going to level us up, and then we'll get another synthesis quest, allowing us to continue this. So we can see here, we leveled up, and we got some diligence from our level, which is nice, but unfortunately, it's given us open 20 coin purses. Now, you have two options here. You can go out, if you happen to have 2 computers or a friend that's willing to kill some mobs for you, and you can go over to like a level 40 zone, like Rookborn Basin or something, somewhere with a lot of mobs and, you know, very easy to kill mobs so that you can kill them really, really fast, and you can go over and you can collect 20 coin purses. I like to just hit reroll on this and hope that I get Synthium ones again. So I hit reroll, and you can see I got a synthesis equip times 5. So what I could do is I could go here and I can just buy another 5 infusions and then feed them in one by one. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to go complete this blue salt quest. So we're going to go ahead and port over to just a community center that I have access to. Alright, so I'm over here in Windscour Savannah. I've ported over to a community center with a blue salt bond quest available. I've made sure that I have a little bit of gold on this character, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this blue salt quest. It's 100 leather, which is not ideal for us. You generally wouldn't want to do anything that is 100. You'd probably only want to do the 20s, but for the sake of time and this video, I'm just going to say fuck it, and I'm going to buy 100 leather for 54 gold. Absolutely do not do this. I'm just being lazy, and the community center that I happened to choose was not a good one. So I'm going to turn this in for a blue salt quest, and it's going to give me 10,000 XP and a blue salt bond, which I can then trade in later to the in my hero hall for the blue salt bond quest daily thingy that the heroes put up, and I can get some honor from that, which can also be translated over to. So it's not a complete waste, but again, I would highly recommend only doing the blue salt dailies that trade in for 20 or 60 of them at most. You do not want to do the hundreds like I just did, and especially not of leather when they're 54 fucking silver a piece. But nevertheless, we completed that mission, and we got a good one here. So we got working overtime, which requires us to use 500 labor. Now this is great, because when we're doing our synthesis one here, it's actually spending labor. So we go ahead and feed each of these in, like I said before, one at a time, and it's going to cost us 20 labor a piece. So we're completing our synthesis quest and the labor one at the same time, which is super, super nice. Now I'll go ahead and complete this one here. Now, see, these boots are going to be full now, so I can no longer feed them. So they're going to be unique, and I'm going to go ahead and just delete them. You can't sell them or anything or get any value out of them. I just delete them once they're basically full, because they're of no use to me anymore. So, see, I just completed the 5 synthesis, and unfortunately, I got 20 coin purses again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit reroll on that, and hopefully get synthesis. I got synthesis 20 again. We got some Synthium shard tickets, which can be very useful to us. And we're just going to go ahead and do this over and over again, hopefully getting labor over and over again, or synthesis over and over again, until we complete our 12 missions. And if you can't complete this with the rerolls that you get in a day, it's very easy to do this in a week. You get 6 rerolls per day. It may take you a second day, God forbid, for you to do this. Like I said, it's very, very quick. Now, I'll point out one other thing that you can do, and I'm going to waste rerolls to show you guys this, just because I don't want to do missions over and over until I get it, or hope that I get it. And we're just going to reroll this one into honor, hopefully. Come on, give us honor. Dude, give us what we want. Okay, so you can get missions like this one, which is earn 500 honor points, and I'll also point out that you can also get ones here in the work and overtime one here that want you to earn 500 to 1,000 vocation points. Now, what I like to do is I like to save these crates that you get from the Archepass. So you can see every few levels you're going to get these potion crates that can be traded in for a rank 4 vocation potion or a rank 4 honor potion. And these are useful for completing this quest. So if I get an honor potion quest or a vocation quest, I can go very easily, go into here, get myself an honor potion, and use this, and it will complete the quest, giving me a stage basically for free. I didn't have to put any effort in for that. The Archepass is basically completing itself. And I don't have any more honor potions right now, but if I was to get another, say, honor quest, and I had some blue salt bonds, I could also turn in some blue salt bonds in my hero hall to complete that on a quest as well. So as you guys can see, it's very, very easy to actually complete these quests on your alt character. Spending labor pretty much works hand in hand with the synthesis equips. If you get it on a quest up here, you can just complete it with the Archepass crates that it gives you. And you obviously want honor as well, so it's not like you're wasting that crate to get the quest done. You're also getting the honor, obviously, but it's just completing the Archepass as well. And if we happen to get a vocation one here, it's never bad to get a bit of vocation on your character, because you can spend that on whatever seeds, trees, whatever you might need on your character to send over to your main or whatever. You can get yourself seeds, animals, trees. You can even get yourself some pajamas for images and then send them over, or you can get Dawn's Drop pieces and send them over. It's very, very useful. There's a lot of stuff you can get for vocation as well that can translate into a lot of value for you. So, like I said, guys, very, very simple to take advantage of your Archepass between two characters. And I highly suggest everyone does this, even if you're not too into, doing the crate for the costume or anything like that. The straight up value that you get out of just labor recharges, being able to pop them on your main and get them on your alt and get them on your main, is basically infinite value on its own, excluding everything else that we talked about. So I can go ahead and I can pop this labor recharge out. It's going to give me 700 labor. And I like to do these pretty much every day up to the cap, because I use so much labor and you get so many recharges between this character and your main that you can almost afford to do this every single day. And so I popped a bunch of labor recharges here. I can just go ahead and character select, log on to my main, and I can have a bit of extra labor for feeding infusions or doing some farming, running some trade packs, whatever it is I want to do on my main. I have a bit of extra labor. You can see here when we get into character select, it's going to have our labor at the top here, and that doesn't change when we log into our main, because that is account-wide, server-specific labor. So as long as that second character is on the same server, that labor is going to translate. It's very, very nice, very, very valuable, very useful, and I highly suggest everyone does it in one form or another. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed our first episode of the Archeage Survival Guide, and I will see you guys in the next video of whatever I make. Cheers!